his accuser, Christine Ford, she has agreed to be interviewed. Her attorney says she will, not on Monday, maybe Thursday, but here are her terms. No questions from lawyers, only committee members, and Brett Kavanaugh can't be in the room, and Judge Kavanaugh has to testify first. What do you think, Geraldo?
Well, I think, Ainsley, first of all, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Remember when James Carville said it's the economy, stupid? Mm-hmm. In this case, it is abortion or abortion rights, stupid. This is all about abortion. This is the epic battle, the latest battle between the forces of pro-choice versus pro-life. And I think both sides will do whatever is necessary, whatever is legally possible to delay or get their person on the high court. I have no doubt, before I get, Ainsley, to your specific question about the conditions being imposed by the witness, I have no doubt but that Dianne Feinstein's holding of the letter from the accuser, from Dr. Ford in this case, was part of a strategy to delay the confirmation of Judge Kavanaugh as long as they possibly could, hopefully pass the midterm elections on the slim chance that the Democrats will recapture control of the Senate and therefore scuttle Judge Kavanaugh's ascension to the high court. This was not accidental. I've been around the block too many times. I know that this was a conspiracy. Whether Dianne Feinstein confided with other Democrats, Senator Feinstein, right, I have no idea, but I have I am absolutely certain that this was part of a process to delay the confirmation of Judge Kavanaugh. It is similar, maybe not tactically, but strategically, to how Mitch McConnell kept Merrick Garland from being confirmed to the high court because he was a pro-choice guy. Kavanaugh is a pro-life guy, and this is what it's all about. This is part of, and I use the word again, part of the epic battle that has rent asunder the American Republic. It's almost like you don't need a presidential election. You need to push a button, pro-life, pro-choice, and that turns out to be the results of the election. It's the most important issue, the most volatile issue, the most unavoidable issue, and there's no compromise on it.
Geraldo, Dr. Christine Ford has told her story through the Washington Post, and we've heard portions of it elsewhere. But it was very clear, according to the Politico timeline, that after she wrote the letter to Dianne Feinstein, which Feinstein will not release unredacted, she did give a copy to the FBI, but there were things that were not included in it. Christine Ford did not want her name out there because in August, she realized, he's going to become a justice. I'm going to go quiet. I don't want my name out there. But then Dianne Feinstein, according to the Politico timeline, showed everybody or told everybody on the Democrat side about this accuser. Next thing you know, her name is leaked, and now she's famous.
Well, she's famous or you're embattled, depending on how you see her and how you measure her sincerity.
Her name is in the public eye.
But my take on it, Steve, is that she is a warrior in this epic war that's going on. She is the latest, a person who, she is like the last bastion for the pro-choice people. She's the last hope they have of derailing Kavanaugh's nomination. Last week, she staggered Kavanaugh. He was sailing to his confirmation. It was almost, it seemed to me, just a matter of days before the Judiciary Committee would have passed on, with approval, his nomination to the full Senate, and they would have voted. And I think that, under the current circumstance, the composition of the Senate, he would have been confirmed, if not easily. It would have been a close vote, but I think it would have happened. Look what she has done. She has gummed up the works. She's not going to testify on Monday. She will get around to it, though. The issue is, going back to Ainsley's question about the tactics here and her conditions that she is imposing, I believe that once the committee agrees to her conditions, whatever they are, there will be other conditions.
Sure.
Their MO now will be to delay, to obscure, to make this all about sex assault and Me Too and, how can you elevate this man to the high court? Remember Clarence Thomas with the pubic hair on the Coke can and all the rest of it. He made it to the high court, but he was so beat up by the time he got there. He was so embittered that he sits on the court today never uttering a word. I believe that Clarence Thomas was so scarred by his confirmation process. That's why you go to the high court. I've been there, and he doesn't say a word. Well, he may mumble something to one of his colleagues off mic, but I believe that was because of the egregious nature of the attacks on him during Professor Anita Hill's testimony and what happened.
You're pointing to the moving of the goalposts. The week started with the idea that Dr. Ford needed to be heard. And then you had Democrats say, well, maybe she doesn't need to be heard just yet. Let's have an FBI investigation. The president has been frustrated by the moving of those goalposts. He caught up with our own colleague, Sean Hannity, caught up with him in Las Vegas. Here's what he said.
I think it's a very sad situation. He's an outstanding person. And frankly, Sean, to see what's going on is just very, very sad. You say, why didn't somebody call the FBI 36 years ago? I mean, you could also say, when did this all happen? What's going on? To take a man like this and besmirch. Now, with that being said, let her have her say, and let's see how it all works out. But I don't think you can delay it any longer. They've delayed it a week already.
And you've been very accommodating.
I have been accommodating. I say let her say what she has to say, and let's see how it all comes out. But they've delayed it a week, and they have to get on with it.
You know, and Geraldo, you now have Rachel Maddow saying maybe he should be charged criminally, even when we don't know the facts of the case. If there's even a
ridiculous.
Case.
I want to say this to Professor Lawrence Tribe and others who have made an argument that there is still a criminal case to be pursued and investigated. There is no way on God's green earth that there is any criminal charges that can be leveled against Brett Kavanaugh. It was 2 minors. It was over 30 years ago. The statutes of limitations, particularly when it comes to juveniles, would make any criminal prosecution impossible. The only thing they could possibly do, and it would be a long shot, is get Kavanaugh tricked up. Well, you said this under oath, and maybe that's not exactly what happened here. You know, I think that but go back, Ed, this is the whole thing. They will do whatever they can to slow down this process. They are betting against hope that the midterm elections will turn out their way, changing the composition and the vibe in the United States Senate. I just want to say parenthetically, it was great seeing my 2 pals, Sean Hannity and the 45th President of the United States, Donald Trump, in the friendly confines of Vegas, because both of them generally get beat up by the opposing forces here. Okay. But I think the president makes a good point. He's been very measured. I was so afraid that he would be tempestuous, as he sometimes is, or thin-skinned, and would lash out at Dianne Feinstein or whomsoever. Leave that to to others, people in this particular case like me.